Okay, question 24. And I believe question 24 looks like 25 and 26. So you can use these as references for um for that, for 25 and 2026. Very similar layout. So let's walk through 24 and understand what's taking place there. So it says that ABC manufactures two products, the DEF and the GHI. Very creative there. Takes 5 hours of labor to make a DEF and 7 hours of labor to make a GHI. And so the overhead activities for these machine setups and special parts handling have budgets of 80,000 and 40,000 respectively. And of course, again, this is not our problem. We have direct materials, we have direct labor, and we are told we're given the special parts and the machine setup. So if we need to do some ABC work, we can as well. So this is the total special parts for all of it, total machine hours. And those are our production units. Okay, so first of all, it says calculate the fixed overheads, assuming they're absorbed on budgeted labor hours. So what I'm really saying is that um, here I'm just going to assume, which is what it is. We assume with traditional absorption costing that all of the absorption costs, all the overheads are driven by labor hours. So what I need to do is to find the first thing I need to do is to get the total set of overheads, which is the 80,000 plus the 40,000, which is 120,000, and also I need to get the total number of labor hours. So what do I have? I have the labor hours for every what do I have here? I have the total number of budgeted units, and I have the labor hours per unit is given to me. 5 hours for every unit, you're making 1,000, so therefore your total labor hours are 5,000. The same thing here, 7 hours per unit, you have 5,000 units, that's 35,000. So you have a total of 40,000 hours. And therefore, the overhead absorption rate must be the 120,000 divided by the 40,000, which is equal to 3. And so what does that mean? So given that you're absorbing based on labor hours, it means that the fixed overhead, if you like, for DEF must be 3 times 5 and 3 times 7 here. So you have 15 and you have 20, 21. So from on that point, if I'm asked what the total cost is based on that, well, it literally is. Well, I have these given to me already, if you like. Oops, sorry, I'll just change that again. I have these given to me already. All I'm doing is inserting those figures I've just worked out over here. And I think that's what I've literally done, just literally picked them from B17. And the same thing here. And I've been able to thus calculate the total costs for each of these units. Now, the next option here is to I've been asked to then do a sort of prep based on activity-based costing. So first of all, it's asking to find the cost driver rate. So I know that it tells me that in the question, let me just come back up here and find my, I'm sorry, I'm going into the wrong question now. Just come back here. Yeah, and it says here that the overhead activities for machine setups, 80,000, special parts, 40,000. So I know that machine setups, 80,000, special parts handling, 40,000. Right? So 80,000 was caused by a total of both of these. 40,000 was caused by both of these, and I'm just splitting it based on that. And so in terms of all of it, right? So that's what's happening here. So I have a total of 400 special parts, a total of 200 machine setups, and again, um, B6. So B6, of course, B6 is up here. So you see that's my special parts handling. So 40,000 divided by 40,000 divided by 400 gives me 100. And 80,000 divided by 200 gives me 400. So I know what the overhead absorption rate is per special part. So I just find, you can see what I'm doing here is I just multiply the 100 by the total number of special parts for DEF, and I can find the total cost, and I can do the same thing here for GHI. And I've literally split that 40,000 according to the ratio, really, of 3 to 1. Same thing here, 150 to 50, splitting that 40,000, and that's what you're seeing over here. So my total costs, my total overhead cost of DEF is 90,000. My total overhead cost of GHI is 30,000. I budgeted to make 1,000 units. So basically, now I know what the cost is over 1,000 units. Now I know what the cost is over 5,000 units, and I can find what the overhead cost is per unit. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to find. You know, the overhead cost per unit. So 90,000 is driven or drives the production of 1,000 units. 30,000 drives the production of 5,000 units, and that's what I'm doing over there. I'm inserting those figures right there for the activity-based costing, and you have 123 here. So I've put here discuss decision making. So yes, of course. So the argument really here is that a lot of the questions will ask you that, okay, now that you know this, given that this is considered to be a refined process, the activity-based costing, if you like, it gives us a better understanding of what the costs truly are. Prior to this activity-based costing, you had absorption costing, and you were costing DEF at 48 and costing GHI at 68. Now you know the DEF costs 123, so you've been undercosting DEF, and so therefore you need to increase the cost here. You've been underselling and probably not making any money, because if you're costing it at 48, you're probably giving it a markup of what, 20%, whatever. So you're probably selling it for 60, 65, and thus making a loss. So you need to sort out your costings here, and here you're probably outpricing yourself. You're setting your prices too high because the costs themselves are only 53. So you need to assess and bring down the actual selling price. You're probably compensating GHI for DEF. So you want to really get your business engineering looked at, so that you are now assigning, if you like, the relevant costs, or you're not now assigning the right prices to both DEF and GHI. And so that's really the point about decision making, comparing both traditional and activity, and then learning and assume. Well, when I say assuming, generally the argument is that activity-based cost is better, more refined, because it is we're able to break down those overheads, something that we couldn't quite do with traditional absorption, just lumping them all together and assuming that they're driven by one base. Okay.